Coffee. You drink this, and I guarantee that at the very least, if you're not improving your aim, you are getting more kills. And this is backed up by scientific testing that I have done myself. In which case, it's not that scientific. This came out of like a completely kind of like curiosity about how people might approach esports. Because you do have games like Valorant.
Revive me, Jet, revive me.
Call of Duty and...
But when I get fucking flashed, it tastes like some big ball of glass dude named fucking Requeen.
Everything in between, like MOBAs, like Dota and League of Legends, Wild Rift, whatever you have on like mobile and PC, on console, and maybe even Mac if you are a little spicy like that, like a spicy gamer. I was just curious to know if there was a translation between supplementation in kind of the fitness industry and esports, right? Have drinks like pre-workout that increase alertness, increase focus, they increase your energy output and strength output. In the same way, I was wondering if there was a supplement maybe that you could drink and it would increase your gaming output, whatever the fuck that means. I don't know if there are objective variables that would constitute gaming output, but anyway. So this whole curiosity kind of led me towards, well, you know, coffee. There's a, you know, caffeine in particular, not coffee specifically, but what's inside of coffee, which is caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant, as most of us may or may not know, and caffeine happens to be in every single energy drink out there, whether it's a gaming energy drink or like an energy drink like Red Bull or like a Monster or like Rockstar Energy. So caffeine, does it help improve gaming performance? And subsequently, does Gfuel, does gamersupps, do those drinks increase gaming performance? I ran a few tests. The goal of my testing was to see, of course, whether or not caffeine improves gaming performance, which, spoiler alert, does improve gaming performance by quite a generous margin, and I'm going to be going into the details of my testing right now. Method of data collection. We kind of have two levels of testing. I have two levels of testing. We have one level that's without coffee. For the second level of testing, I would drink one double shot of espresso, wait 45 minutes for the caffeine to fully set in. The two levels would be separated by a day, so I have one day that would have a stretch of gaming sessions based around no coffee, and then I would have another day of gaming sessions with coffee. And I separated them by a day because personally, I don't like playing multiplayer games for too long. I personally don't enjoy them as much as I used to anymore. I feel old, but that's fine. It's not a huge deal. Maybe it is. So the tests will be done over 2 games, in particular Halo Infinite and Valorant. So there will be 2 warm-up matches for each game, and I played 3 matches for each game. So for both Valorant and Halo Infinite, I played 3 matches, 1 with coffee and another 3 matches without coffee. Note, however, that I did not play a 3rd game for the second round of testing for Valorant with coffee. The 2 games were long and I did not enjoy my time for the most part. It was good with friends, but like I got sick and tired of it. I didn't want to play any more Valorant by the time the second game was over. And I chose Valorant and Halo because I am more familiar with those games. Halo in particular, I've had a long history with that game, as most of us may or may not. Second reason, I'm more comfortable with FPS games, more so than anything else. And then the third reason, I feel like those games in particular, multiplayer FPS games, they seem more objective in the way of performance measurements. It boils down to accuracy, or maybe in Valorant, it would be average damage per round. You'd also have kills, deaths, assists, right? All of those things are objective. In the future, I would like to measure an RTS or a MOBA, but anyway, that is a video for another time. So for the tests, we'll start with Halo Infinite. As you can see here, we have the average kills. Well, we kind of have just the averages over the 3 games with coffee and without coffee. So that's average kills, average deaths, average assists. And then for Halo Infinite, this is a specific statistic, which is accuracy. Valorant's specific statistic, we'll see it later, but it's ADR, which is average damage per round. And then again, here's Valorant, average kills, average deaths, average assists. You can see the game-to-game statistics here. So my initial testing revealed that on average, kills were virtually the same, which is interesting. Moving on to deaths and assists, they were less when ingesting caffeine for both games. The biggest difference regarding average deaths was recorded in Valorant, which went from an average of 18 deaths to an average of 10 deaths, which is quite a big gap in average deaths. So we went from 18 to 10. That's a minus 8 deaths. Math. Moving on to the game-to-game statistics, we kind of see on a macro level, we kind of get to see how stuff kind of really changes from game to game. And we can see here, starting with accuracy and ADR for Halo and Valorant respectively, game-to-game stats show increasing performance as more games are played. So by the time the third game comes around, for both games, Halo and Valorant, by the time the third game rolls around, performance is undeniably higher and just better. I feel like these glasses make me look 2 times smarter. Regarding kills, game-to-game stats showed the same trend. Interestingly enough, performance got better, kills got better. You got more kills as time went on. The averages are one thing, but looking at it on a macro level from game to game is a completely, well, not a completely different thing, but it is relatively different. Moving on to the second round of testing, again with Halo Infinite, we can see that on average, yeah, it is more clear now. The difference in performance is much clearer now with coffee and without coffee, especially with kills in particular. Moving on to Valorant, it's the same story. The performance delta is bigger now. It's much more clearer. Say clearer 5 times fast. Clearer. It just becomes clearer. Like, what the heck is that? That's not even a word. Again, I did not record a third game, so for all we know, we might not be here tomorrow. For all we know, game 3 could have tanked entirely. But from the 2 games that we do have recorded here, much higher than no coffee. So coffee, those statistics much higher than the stats shown for no coffee, which is very interesting to see. So again, second round of testing shows different but somewhat similar results. On average, there now appears to be a bigger difference in kills. Halo Infinite saw a 5 kill difference, while Valorant saw a 3.5 kill difference, both in favor of caffeine ingestion. Average deaths and kills were virtually the same for Halo Infinite, while Valorant saw lesser deaths and assists on average, a 1.5 death difference in favor of caffeine, and a 2 assist difference in favor of no caffeine. Looking at the game-to-game stats, again, going back to that macro level, it's different from the first round of testing. It's quite different. Secondary tests show inconsistent performance when caffeine is ingested. So starting with Halo, we saw a trend of decreasing performance as more games are played, which is the opposite of what was seen in the first round of testing, where performance got better as more games were played. But it is still important to note that in spite of the increasing or decreasing performance in the second round of testing, performance was still higher on average for Halo Infinite. Now looking at Valorant, performance post-caffeine ingestion was significantly higher and consistently higher than the level without caffeine. And to preface again, I didn't record a third game, which really skews the data. So going straight into the total stats now across all games, so I'm including every single kill, every single death, every single assist. I personally saw, as per my testing, an 8% increase in kills, an 11% decrease in deaths, which is always nice. Dying less is always nice, and a 22% decrease in assists with post-caffeine ingestion in mind. So looking at the results, there is evidence to support that 1, caffeine consumption increases gaming performance, and 2, over time, performance may get better. Of course, I say may get better because Halo Infinite during the second round of testing saw consistently worsening performance as more games were played. This could be due to a whole host of reasons, such as it could be due to the fact that I might have been pitted against increasingly better players as I played the game some more. Or it could also be that I was teamed up with increasingly worsening players as I played the game some more. Of course, this could all be copium for the fact that maybe I just got even worse and I'm already bad. Or not, I don't know, I think I'm pretty good at Halo, I could be wrong. In any case, the chances of performance improving as more games are played are still higher, as per my testing. And another thing is that when considering performance getting better as you play more games, it's not clear if caffeine actually helps performance increase over time, or if increased performance over time is strictly due to the nature of warming up. There was a study by Owen et al. In 2008 that examined the effects of caffeine and L-theanine on mood and cognitive performance. So they found that the effects of caffeine alone, so no L-theanine, the effects of caffeine alone saw a peak in effectiveness at around 60 minutes post-ingestion. Furthermore, there was a study by Roser Jr. et al. In 2012 that showed warming up with video games showed performance benefits regarding clinical surgery, specifically laparoscopic surgery, if that's how you say it. Laparoscopic, one of the two. And in particular, those participants played Super Monkey Ball 2. Silent Scope, and Star Wars Racer's Revenge. And yeah, like video games and clinical surgery, I feel like those two words shouldn't be together, because that's just like, oh yeah, I played games before fucking operating on this man for 24 hours straight, bro. You know, I don't know. So lastly, the one thing I want to bring up is the topic of newbie gains. So this is a term that's thrown around the fitness industry that refers to the ease newcomers have to the gym in regards to progress. Sometimes you see newcomers to the gym, newbies, they'll slap on like 5 pounds on their bench press every session, while some might see something even greater at like 10 pounds on their bench press every session. Like they add 10 pounds to their bench press every session. In a similar capacity, new players in any given game might experience a similar phenomenon of newbie gains, in which case they would see increased performance from gaming sesh to gaming sesh. The concept of newbie gains is very applicable in this case, because while I'm not new to Halo Infinite, I hadn't played Halo Infinite for months because, well, fucking 343, you tell me why, motherfucker. Lack of content. I hadn't played Halo Infinite for months. I hadn't touched Valorant for over a year. I just don't like playing the game. So for those games, I was starting from a state where I was really deficient in any sort of practice or skill. I think it is very applicable in this case, because we can see the clear difference from the first round of testing for the second versus the second round of testing. The first round of testing saw weirdly similar results, at least in the way of kills. Going to the second round of testing, we saw a clearer divide between coffee and no coffee. In which case I would attribute that more crystal clear divide to the fact that maybe I was really getting back into the swing of things. So there is that something to consider as well. Just to kind of wrap things up on the testing, based on my results, it's safe to assume that caffeine consumption alone increases gaming performance by a relatively generous margin. There are other things to consider, such as competency, how long you've played the game for, newbie gains, mindset, you know, regarding the game, whether you're looking to just relax or really get on that ninja grind set. Furthermore, proper diet and sufficient exercise can't be understated. The healthier the individual, the more responsive and cognitively active that they would be, because they're just healthier in general. All this to say that caffeine consumption is merely supplementary to the player. Caffeine cannot replace practice, right? Caffeine might make a bad player I can't speak English today. All this to say that caffeine consumption is merely supplementary to the player. Caffeine might make a bad player slightly better, but ultimately a bad player, dude, it's still fucking bad, bro. Caffeine can't replace practice and one's genetic disposition for playing games. Some people are quite literally born to play video games. You know, you take a look at Faker, there's only one Faker, there's only one Tens, there's only one Lucid, there's only one Jex.
I gotta kill him! He's not dead! He's not dead! I had to kill him! I have to kill him!
And yes, they're disciplined with their practice and they work hard. I'm not denying the fact that they're like constantly grinding, playing video games all the time. But they have the genetics to take that shit to the next level. If you don't have the genetics, if you don't have like, I don't know what in particular would make someone born to play a video game, but whatever it is, those motherfuckers have it. And they're able to take their skill set that they already have to the next level with better genetics, right? So they take all their hard work, they take all that discipline, and they're able to take it to the next level because of their genetics, because they have things that allow them to operate better when they're playing games. In which case, should all gamers drink coffee to improve performance? Absolutely fucking not. On one hand, some people might not like the effects associated with caffeine, like increased heart rate, increased sweating, and feelings of anxiousness, among other things. Moreover, reiterating the point from the last paragraph, if you're not good, get better. Don't just drink coffee. Caffeine consumption will only serve as a band-aid solution to your deficiencies as a player. Lastly, I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm not your mother, I'm not your father, you know, if you want to try meth to improve gaming performance, don't try it, by the way. Then by all means, maybe you should give it a try. Don't try it. I'm just trying to prove a point. Like, do whatever the fuck you want, but don't do that. As far as gaming drinks are concerned as well, gamersupps and Gfuel, they have what are known as proprietary blends as part of their ingredient profile, which are ingredients with undisclosed dosages. So you'll look at the nutrition label for Gsupps, what the fuck is that? It's a mix of Gfuel and gamersupps. You look at gamerfuel, or my god, why can't they just agree on one fucking name? You look at the nutrition label for gamersupps or Gfuel. They have a proprietary blend. They call it something. I forget what the name of their blend is, but they list the ingredients, but they don't put the dosing. They just say 159,000 micrograms of this proprietary blend, and they don't list the dosages of each ingredient. Gamersupps contains 159,000 micrograms of their proprietary blend per serving. For perspective, there's about 150 milligrams or 150,000 micrograms of caffeine in a shot of espresso, a double shot of espresso. If we assume that the proprietary blend for gamersupps has an espresso's worth of caffeine, that leaves 9 milligrams or 9,000 micrograms for every single other ingredient. That's not a whole lot. And if you look at the ingredient profile, it's listed from the most prevalent ingredient to the least prevalent. Of the proprietary blend, most of it is caffeine. The second ingredient is L-theanine. The minimum efficacious dose for L-theanine, right? So this is the minimum dose at which L-theanine, you'll feel its effects, is 50 milligrams. Gfuel might be more competent with its ingredients. The nutrition label states that there is 140 milligrams of caffeine, so that's good. That's just about an espresso's worth of caffeine, leaving the rest of the weight per serving reserved for other ingredients. So yeah, but still all other ingredients are under a proprietary blend, so I'm personally unaware of the dosing per ingredient per serving. If you are a gamer and you're looking for gaming performance boosts, I would highly recommend Gorilla Mode Respawn. Gorilla Mode Respawn is properly dosed, and it's aimed at individuals not just for gaming, but for studying, because its effects go beyond the gaming performance boosts, but it goes into cognitive enhancing, memory retention, and all that. This is a properly dosed gaming drink, one that I would highly recommend people purchase over Gfuel or gamersupps. While it is more expensive, the ingredients are properly dosed, and you will feel the benefits for a majority of the time that you are awake throughout the day. So it's worth it, I would say, more so than Gfuel or gamersupps. Just to kind of wrap things up, I personally don't think it's worth buying gamersupps in replacement of store-bought coffee. If you're looking for gaming performance, right? If you're looking for a performance boost, go to the store, grocery store, and buy instant coffee. You're probably better off getting performance benefits from that, and you get it for cheaper. Store-bought grocery coffee, like instant coffee, is $5, whereas a jar of Gfuel is 35 USD and a tub of gamersupps is $40. You are getting more out of store-bought coffee than you are Gfuel and gamersupps, for that matter. That said, I do understand the appeal of both companies, Gfuel and gamersupps. A lot of streamers support those companies. They have cool tubs. They got cool art on their tubs. I'm not gonna deny that. It looks cool. I would buy a tub of Gfuel just for kind of the tub art. And that's a weird thing to say. I'd also buy it just because, you know, it's trendy. That's another thing. It's super fucking trendy. Those two drink companies are very, very trendy. You got PewDiePie backing Gfuel. You got Jay Schlatt with gamersupps, I think. You got Cold Ones, you know, for gamersupps. You got Moist Critical for Gfuel. There's a lot riding in terms of status with those two companies, and I completely understand. It's fine, it's whatever. Which kind of nullifies my whole argument for this video. But it is what it is. That's that for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Get some coffee, get those performance benefits for your games. Drink Gfuel because it looks cool. Drink gamersupps because it looks cool. Drink Gorilla Mind Respawn because it works and it looks cool. Drink water. Smoke meth, don't do that. And yeah, that's about it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye!